The night the signal arrived, every telescope on Earth was already pointed toward the stars. We were listening as we always had, listening for distant pulses, for whispers from faraway suns, for anything that might prove we were not alone. That was why it took so long for anyone to notice the anomaly. The signal did not come from a nebula or a dying star or the edge of the galaxy. It came from much closer. It came from a ship. I was on the late shift when the alert finally triggered. At first it looked like interference, a repeating pattern buried under cosmic noise. I ran the filters again and again until the truth became impossible to ignore. The origin point was moving, and it was moving with intent. Something artificial was transmitting from within our own deep space perimeter. My hands trembled as I marked the coordinates and cross-checked orbital data. There was nothing on record. No probe, no station, no classified mission. Whatever this was, it had not been logged. As more systems locked onto the signal, the room filled with quiet tension. Screens glowed with lines of data scrolling faster than anyone could read. The signal had structure, rhythm, pauses that felt deliberate. It was not a distress call. It was not random. It was a message, and it was waiting for us to notice. When the image feed finally resolved, we saw it. A dark shape drifting against the void, smooth and angular at the same time. No thrusters, no running lights, no signs of damage. Just a silent vessel hanging in space like it had always been there. Someone whispered that it looked old. Someone else said it looked like it was watching us. The signal changed the moment our sensors focused on the ship. The pattern tightened, almost like a response. That was when the fear set in, not panic but something colder. The understanding that we were no longer observers. We were participants. I started recording everything. Every fluctuation, every shift in frequency, every visual frame. If this moment changed humanity, then it needed to be remembered exactly as it happened. And if you are watching this unfold with me, now take a second to subscribe to the channel. Because what comes next only gets stranger. And you will not want to miss how deep this mystery goes. The ship did not approach. It did not retreat. It simply continued transmitting as if waiting for permission. We debated for hours whether to reply. Some argued that silence was safer. Others said the signal itself was proof that the decision had already been made. In the end, curiosity won, as it always does with humans. We sent a simple response, a pulse acknowledging receipt, nothing more. For several seconds, nothing happened. Then the ship emitted a new signal, layered, complex, and powerful. The instrument struggled to keep up, and buried inside that transmission was something none of us expected. A map, not of the stars but of us. Our planets, our orbits, our history encoded in light. It had not come from the stars. It had come from the ship. And the ship knew who we were. This was only the beginning. The moment we decoded the map embedded in the transmission, the room fell into stunned silence. It was not just a rough outline of our solar system. It was precise down to orbital drift, gravitational fluctuations, and even artificial satellites. Whoever sent it had been watching Earth for a very long time. The realization settled over us like a weight. This was not first contact. This was delayed recognition. The ship remained motionless, yet the signal intensified, as if it sensed our growing awareness. Patterns began to form within patterns. Mathematical constants appeared first, then biological markers. Human DNA sequences unfolded across the screen in shimmering strands of light. My breath caught in my throat. The ship was not merely observing our position in space. It understood our biology. Panic began to ripple through command channels across the planet. Military satellites repositioned. Defense systems moved to alert status. But the vessel did nothing aggressive. No weapon signatures, no propulsion surges. Only the steady pulse of information flowing toward us like a tide that could not be stopped. We made a decision that would define history. Instead of preparing to attack, we prepared to listen. Linguists, physicists, neurologists, and AI systems worked together to interpret the expanding transmission. As the hours passed, the signal began to synchronize with our own outgoing responses. It was adapting to our language structures. It learned quickly, almost impossibly quickly. Words started forming inside the data streams. Not spoken but implied. Concepts translated through shared mathematics and visual encoding. One message emerged more clearly than the rest. We are not your first. The implication sent chills through everyone present. The ship had encountered others. Civilizations before us. The next sequence revealed fragments of what looked like star systems darkened and silent. Records of worlds that once transmitted and then stopped. Extinction or evolution beyond recognition we could not tell. I continued narrating everything for the archive. If you are following this journey, right? Now make sure you subscribe to the channel, because what we are uncovering is rewriting everything we believed about our place in the universe. Each chapter of this discovery grows more intense, and you will want to stay with us until the final revelation. Then the signal shifted again. A projection unfolded from the vessel itself. A lattice of light, expanding outward into space. Our telescopes captured it in real time. It was a gateway structure, or perhaps a communication bridge, forming between dimensions. The energy readings spiked but remained stable. The ship was not preparing to destroy us. It was preparing to open something. Dream translated one more concept before the transformation completed. Observation complete. Evaluation ongoing. We were being tested. Around the globe, debates erupted. Were we worthy? Were we in danger? Or were we being invited to join something far older and greater than humanity? The ship had waited silently until we were advanced enough to notice it. That meant it had patience beyond comprehension. As the luminous structure expanded, the stars behind it bent slightly under gravitational distortion. Space itself seemed to lean toward the vessel. The signal now carried anticipation. The next move would not belong to the ship. It would belong to us. The world watched in collective silence as the luminous structure around the ship stabilized. Every major network carried the live feed. Cities slowed. Airports paused departures. Even the endless noise of the internet seemed to hold its breath. Above Earth, the vessel remained perfectly still, wrapped in a halo of bending light that shimmered like a doorway waiting to be crossed. The final translation from the signal repeated across our screens. Evaluation ongoing. Response determines outcome. It was not a threat. It was not a promise. It was a condition. Inside Mission Control, the debate that had begun hours earlier reached its breaking point. Some leaders demanded defensive action. Others insisted that aggression would confirm our worst instincts. I stared at the data streams flowing across my console and realized something simple and terrifying. The ship had shown us extinct systems. It had shown us civilizations that vanished. But it had not shown us how they responded. This was a test of identity. We prepared one final transmission. Not military codes, not technical data, not a display of weapons. We compiled a record of humanity at its best. Our art, our music translated into mathematical harmony, images of forests and oceans, scientific achievements, messages in every language expressing curiosity rather than dominance. We sent proof that we are flawed but capable of growth. The seconds after transmission felt longer than the entire night before. Then the signal changed. For the first time, the ship emitted a pattern that matched our emotional cadence. The frequency softened. The surrounding lattice of light brightened and expanded outward, without destabilizing local space. Energy readings shifted from evaluative scanning to synchronized resonance. It was not opening a portal for invasion. It was aligning with us. A new message formed, clearer than any before. Threshold acknowledged. Across the globe, people gasped as the luminous structure unfolded into a vast geometric corridor stretching beyond visual range. It did not pull us in. It did not force entry. It simply existed, a bridge waiting for voluntary steps. Coordinates appeared within the transmission, leading to distant but reachable star systems. Not random locations, habitable zones, an invitation. Recording, my voice steadier than I felt. If you have followed this story from the first signal until this very moment, make sure you subscribe to the channel, because what humanity chooses next will define our future among the stars. This is no longer speculation. It is the beginning of something real, and you will want to witness every step of it unfold. The ship began to dim, its primary transmission complete. One final sequence streamed through our systems, not words but a shared understanding. We were not alone. We had never been alone. Others had reached this threshold before us. Some failed, some advanced. Now it was our turn. The vessel did not leave. It remained as silent guardian and witness while Earth prepared its first true interstellar mission. The signal had not come from the stars. It had come from the ship, and the ship had been waiting for us to be ready.